most affordable way to carry 4 surfboards, 3 wetsuits through Tokyo, which is quite hard work. So for this trip, I was limited to only buses and trains. Not because it's a cool way to travel or because it makes this video more interesting. This was purely because I didn't have an international driver's license and couldn't rent a car. After a couple of nights in the city, I went about my mission. First stop, Chiba, Japan's capital of surfing. After a few surfs around the beaches of Ichinomiya, a massive storm hit. It rendered most of the exposed coast massive and onshore. But I used this time to do some research, and I got in touch with a local who was kind enough to show me some sheltered waves down the coast. Looks good.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Here we go.
Get changed.
Yes. Super fun.
Really fun, yeah. Managed to get 1 or 2 from the crowd.
Yeah.
Sat on the inside a little bit. Nice to have a hot shower at the beach. So good.
いただきます。
Japanese breakfast.
Yes.
Swordfish and loads of other stuff. It's a bit of a different breakfast to what I usually eat. It's not porridge or croissants, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty nice. So let's try. Yeah, that's good. Very nice. Wow. It was sick to find some quality waves in what had otherwise been a slow start to the trip, at least from a wave riding perspective. But with an average looking forecast for the area, I began checking the charts for elsewhere in Japan, and before I knew it, I was darting off all over the country in search of more, which meant trains, lots of them. Thankfully, Japan is incredibly well set up for being on the move, with convenient stores selling sushi and microwavable meals ready to eat. The trains are also always on time, and if you ask anyone for help, they are always extremely kind and extremely helpful, despite the sometimes impenetrable language barrier.
あっち Go straight one path.
Okay,
Right. Okay.
this way. Okay.
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 Sorry.
Arigato. Thank you. The only downside to travelling in this way was that once I got to a destination, I then needed to lug a massive 25 kilo board bag and backpack around with me, which usually meant a long neck-burning walk or a strange limp with the board bag strap like cutting into my shoulder. And you get some pretty weird looks limping through a crowded train station in Tokyo, but it is doable. And I did whatever I could to avoid paying the eye-watering amount of money you need to take a taxi even just 5 minutes down the road in Japan. After a handful of failed surf missions to random stretches of coast where the waves were pretty tragic and where I had seemed to find a knack for staying in some obscure hotel miles from the surf, but when a promising-ish looking forecast for somewhere I'd had my eye on for a while appeared, I got on the move again. More walking, more trains, more buses, more taxis, and more on-the-go sushi. And maybe this time I would score. So before we move on, I just want to thank today's sponsor. And today's video is brought to you by Surfshark. Now, if you're not familiar with Surfshark, they are a VPN provider, which if you're not familiar with, is something that allows you to change your internet address, which is really handy for a variety of reasons. You know, when you're away and suddenly your favorite Netflix show has just disappeared and you can't watch it, or you can't access certain sites because of location issues. Well, a VPN eliminates that problem. For me, I always use it to catch up on the football back home while I'm away. VPNs also help keep you safer online by helping prevent scammers and hackers from intercepting your data over public Wi-Fi networks. So go to surfshark.com/Harmon or use the code Harmon at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Oh my gosh, that left, what the fuck? Oh my god. On the first day, I arrived at one of the heaviest beaches I've ever seen. It was far bigger than I'd expected, and I watched on in disbelief as these 4 to 6 foot walls detonated in knee-deep water. It was solid, pretty scary, and looked ridiculously shallow. I spent most of the day on the beach watching, with my tail firmly between my legs. That evening, I mustered up the courage to paddle out and spent most of the time dodging sets, nervously paddling around with my eyes fixed on the horizon. I checked the next morning again, and while it had dropped off significantly, it was still solid, and I spent hours that morning paddling around alone, avoiding these closeouts, just trying to sniff out a makeable corner. The next few days were spent in similar fashion, just paddling around, seeing these crazy spitters up and down the beach, but never really being in position for one. In the meantime, I made friends with a couple of the local boys who were kind enough to show me around, and we shared a handful of super fun sessions together at another wave nearby. Between sessions, I took great pleasure in the everyday things of life in Japan, which are so normal to locals, but still exciting quirks to me. But in terms of getting what I'd come for, I started to think that I'd blown my chance, as the next weather front hit and blew the waves to pieces. A storm ripped through the area with 50-mile-an-hour winds and torrential rain overnight. But the next day, after the wind had subsided and the swell hung around, I woke to more than I could have ever hoped for. For that. Oh, it's not that deep, but a bit of a bigger one. It didn't last long, but it was a lovely session to round off the trip. I would have liked to have been deeper on some of the waves I got, but some of the visions were still so beautiful, and it was so epic to share it with just a couple of us. The main objective for this trip was to score waves, but it would be a huge regret to come all this way and not spend a night or two in Tokyo, which is a wicked place. There are so many people here, all the neon, all the strange new foods, the futuristic vibe of the place. It's just an awesome place to wander around. Just walking around and eating is more than enough to enjoy it. The kindness and the way people go out of their way to help you here really is just unrivaled compared to anywhere else I've been. I think leaving anywhere with some vision and new mates is always a win. And thank you so much to the locals for being so welcoming.